here at Maine Maritime. Came here 3 years ago. Out of 3 seasons, I've coached the DBs 2 out of 3. Got to coach wide receivers another year. And before that was defensive back and wide receiver coach at the high school level out in Colorado. That's where I'm from originally for 8 years. Love the opportunity to coach both sides of the ball, but defense is kind of where my heart's at. It's where I like to be. So glad to be back on that side of the ball here. So when I get into our 3x1 adjustments, talk a little bit about our base coverages first, kind of sets the tone for it. Just in general, our philosophy, something we have in the locker room, they've been saying around here for a long time is runners and hitters. We're probably never going to be the biggest guys on the field, but we want to get out there. We want to outrun you and we want to out-hit you. We're going to play aggressive, sound, movement-based defense. We're getting after it. We're going to move. We're going to put our players in positions that they can win. That's one of the big things I always try to do with our DBs is try to find, where I can put them that, they're going to make plays and they can be successful. Number one, everything that we do, we got to make sure it can stop the run first. And then we don't want to give up any big plays. Control it, keep it in front of us, and then, get a chance to make them make a mistake, get the ball back, or have our offense score. Big thing for me on our defense and as DBs, keep it simple. I'm a big fan of just, slowing down the mind so our guys can play fast. They're not thinking out there. They don't feel like they're stuck in place. They get to play free. They get to play fast. And, basically the freedom to go be playmakers. For 3x1 adjustments, we kind of go about it 2 different ways. It's if we have our base cover 3 called, we don't need to adjust the coverage at all. We'll do a couple of small things as far as alignment and where our 4th rusher may be coming from. But, one of the things I tell the guys is, cover 3 can play anything. So we call it cover 3. We can stay in it. Just make sure we're getting lined up a little different. If we got one of our 2 high coverages called, that's when we'll get into our coverage checks. Again, we'll use similar concepts, same thing. So we're not teaching a whole new coverage for 3x1. Each guy will be doing something they've done before. And then as far as game planning goes, the first type of thing is what type of 3x1 does the team want to run? Are they running it with a tight end? Is he on the line? Is he off more in that H-back position? Is it 10 personnel? Are they spread out, all a bunch of small, fast guys? Where are the splits? Are they trying to widen you out, open up the box? It's a little bit tighter. Just little things like that so you know how you want to attack them. Next thing is where they're playmakers. A lot of the teams that we're seeing these days, I think their top receivers tend to be the one guy in the 3x1, and we're seeing a lot in this the number 3 receiver. With that guy, there's kind of made a little different adjustments that I've done in the past to kind of help protect him and isolate him so he's not making plays. I think we do some cool things with that. And then, what types of runs, passes, where are they looking to attack you? So just kind of a look first, at our, our base, defense. It's a cover 3. It's an over and under. Silver. I call it silver when we want to send our Sam, and I'll call it Will when we want to send our weak or Will, or call it white when we want to send our Will, our weak side backer. Should have started off. As far as alignment goes, we are a field alignment team, so we're always going to have our Sam, our strong safety, and our Mike. They're going to go to the field. These 3 will travel together. And our backer, our Will, and our free safety, they're going to go to the boundary side. Again, those 3 will travel together. Personally, I like to do it. It helps with alignment. You don't have to think. You don't have to wait. Your guys are in place. If they come out and do any kind of trades and stuff, we can just kind of adjust to it. We don't have to worry about guys flipping late. They're in the position that they're used to, and they're ready to go. It also helps us, place guys in positions that they can succeed. Someone's a little bit better in space, we'll get them out front here, out in the field. You know, if they're more of a hitter type kid and want to come off the edge, you know, playing a little more condensed package, we can put them in the boundary. That being said, as far as the way I teach my DBs, I want them to learn all 4 spots. Eventually, they will settle into their certain roles. But to me, it's one of those things that if you have an understanding of what each guy is doing back there in defensive backfield, it helps you kind of play off and do your responsibility. Everybody's got a job, everyone's got a role, and they got to trust the other guy to do it. One way that, for me, that they can learn how to trust the other player is that they got to actually do it and feel it and see what the job is themselves. Corners, typically, they'll kind of settle in a little bit quicker. Safeties are, you know, a lot more adjustable for our guys. But going into our base coverage, if we're sending the Sam, I'm going to spin the strong safety in down behind him. He is our curl flat player. You know, his role is to disrupt the vertical, number 2, and then get inside and underneath the number 1 receiver. Our free safety can travel to center field, get in between the receiving threats, and make sure he's deeper than the deepest. Corners, same thing. We want to keep them on the outside. I like to have them actually, you know, outside leverage on it, helps them see the whole play. We teach a skate step, so it's 1, 2, and then their hips are already turned, they can run. If it's short, it's 3-step, they can still plant and come downhill. Inside backers, hook curl. So again, they're going to drop off a 3, and they're going to work that way into that curl zone, that number 2 receiver. White, same idea, just the opposite direction over here. We got the will coming, so the free safety is going to spin down and replace him. So getting into our alignments for 3x1. We'll bump our backers over. So our Sam, he's going to come outside. We're going to put him inside pad of 2. Again, this is going to be a little bit adjusted on where they're lined up. If number 2 is getting splitting way out, you know, I'm not going to want to lose our Sam completely in the run game. So I'm going to tell him he's going to be more apex with the guy, but, you know, starting point of inside pad number 2. Corner, play side corner, he's going to be, you know, same 1 to 5, 1x7, 1x5 off the outside shade. You know, making sure he can keep third. Our 2 safeties, they're going to shell. You know, we're going to keep that shell throughout our coverages and spin down right at the snap, right before the snap. You know, try to keep the guys guessing. A big rule I do have for them, though, is don't let the disguise beat you. So even though we're trying to show it too high, if you need to start moving early, you get caught, it's all right. Just get where you need to be at the snap of the ball so you can make the play. You know, every team watches film on us anyway, so they have a good idea that even if we start in too high a shell, we're probably spinning down somewhere. Our backers, our Mike's going to move to a 50 tech, so the outside shade behind the tackle. The backer is going to be in a 10, so basically he's right behind the center there. And then our Will, you know, he has a little bit more freedom. We'll play him, you know, kind of outside the tackle. And then depending on what teams are trying to do to us that week, he'll kind of back up a little bit, or he'll play out a little bit more. If they're a team that likes to get out wide, now with fast flow run, hit here the slants and tell them to get a little bit wider. If they're trying to hit us up inside here, I want him to be a little bit tighter and ready to fold in. And again, free safety, starting point, you know, I'm telling them 2-yard, 2x10 off the tackle. You know, if the guys are fast, afraid of getting burnt deep, back up to 12. If you need to, you know, move over to over center, then make sure you can get the middle third, cover any verticals by 2 and 3 here. Go ahead and start moving, get where you need to be. So when the snap of the ball and the play is going, you're not getting beat from the start. you know, it's a lot of it's a feel for the guys. It's watching film, me letting them know, hey, you know, this is working for you. It's not, and not, you know, if they're comfortable. I want the guys to be comfortable. I want them to be able to play fast. And again, it's just getting where they need to be to make plays. So the first, you know, adjustment, you know, we're really not doing much. If I call, you know, our white three, so our will's going. Essentially, nothing's really changing here. Strong safety, he's our middle third player. I know I've drawn him kind of traveling and getting there, but in all reality, he really just kind of needs to drop back, straight back into here. You know, his eyes are going to 3 and 2 as his first threats, you know, then looking for the post coming from one or the other guys coming in. Corners, you just, you know, dropping in their deep third. You know, as far as run fits go, you know, when we're sending the will, you know, we're probably moving our guys, having them step to a shade. The Mike's responsible for the B gap. Backer's responsible for A. Sam's our D gap support player. Our free safety coming down, he's our support player on this side. You know, again, 3-by-1 with a tight end. You know, it's a little, got to be a little bit more aware. The Mike, he's going to be more of a 2-gap player. He's got to be ready to get down, get hands on the tight end. I mean, we do have a support player out here. But we know we're going to get blocks if possible, and also still protect this B gap. Same with the backer. He's, you know, he's ready to sees flow this way. He's ready to protect the B gap. Sees flow towards him. He's ready to fill now an A gap. So here's a clip. This is actually against Norwich, not this season, the season before. So we got some pretty good players. Well, before we get going, that's Sam. A lot of times he's one of our best athletes on the field. Here it's Derek Brunig. He was an all-region player for us, Westbrook kid. You know, it's that kind of guy that's, you know, he's bigger, he's strong, he's athletic. He can play in space, but he can also, you know, be a big player in the run for us. This year we had Max Horton from Marshwood played till he broke his hand, but we also used Terrell Thomas from Edward Little. Terrell was actually the co-rookie of the year of the conference the year before. So, again, we're trying to put some athletic guys in this spot, and we put a lot on them there. You can see starting off early, you know, our strong safety here. It's a little before snap, but he's making sure he's getting depth. He can't get beat. He's squared up. By the time the ball snapped, he can see what's going on. You know, if they were to throw it deep or anything, he's ready to break. Corners, one of the things we teach them too is that, you know, skate through the 3-step. So both guys here kind of, for me, they get going a little quick. This is Norwich, though. They have some pretty good receivers that could get going fast, so I understand it. Our number one rule is don't get burned deep. We can always come up and tackle a 3-step pass. We got Derek here. He's disrupting that first route, vertical of 2. He would start working. Oh, he does start working to the flat after that. So he does a pretty good job. He gets, I would like a little bit of hands-on, but it is 3-step. It's quick. He's getting to that next route. Or Mike does a heck of a job here in that 50-tech spot. He reads the pass. He gets in his drop. He's working that hook right to where the number 3 would normally be. Puts him in position for an interception. Kind of see his drop here. Turn the hips. Get right in there in that quick spot pass. It's a good play by Mike Backer there. So our next one, and probably use this one a little bit more this year than we did with the white. and that was sending our strong side. So our Sam spinning down behind it. So if the receivers are detached, we're bumping our backers out. So Sam's inside number 2. That would cause us a long ways to go down this way. So what we're doing is he'll call a shimmy call. That's going to pass the blitz down to our Mike. So now he's going to be the player coming off the edge. And then he's going to yell hook it, which is notifying the strong safety now that he's no longer the curl flat or the number 2 dropper. He's now going to drop off number 3, where he's going to want a collision, disrupt the vertical 3, in that hook range, and then work to that curl route. So I always tell him, hey, disrupt 3, work underneath 2. Our Sam now will be our collision 2, disrupt the vertical, get inside and underneath number 1. One of the reasons to do that, it's kind of different than what I've used to done in the past. In the past, it's always kept the backer in here. We're still dropping off number 2. But more and more, we're seeing a pretty athletic receiving type guy right in this spot here. And we're finding that if we're able to, drop our strong safety DB there, we can get it covered pretty well. So not much change there. Everyone else's responsibilities stay the same. Essentially just the Sam's passing the blitz down and strong and his coverage area to the strong safety. He's just taking the curl flat. And we look for pretty athletic guys that can play out here. Now against the tight end, he's already pretty close. We have no reason to pass the blitz down, so he's just going to keep it. Everybody else stays the same. So here are again, it's Catholic this year. We got silver called. And again, when I get back to talking about alignment, we're starting to creep. It's a longer count. I'm okay with it as long as he can get down there. Our free safety here, he's probably a little bit farther over than I'd like. I'd like him to be more on the hash, but again, it's the last game of the season. He's been battling a leg. He's a little worried about getting in the middle of the field, so I'm okay with it. As long as you can get to that middle spot and get it covered. Yeah, I'll go slow motion. So Terrell down here, our Sam backer, does a good job. He works to get his hands on and then works out to it. The trip side corner, he's staying on top. It's not getting beat. You see our strong safety does a good job. This kid, this is one of the reasons why I actually like this drop pattern. We're coming in off of number 3. This guy at Catholic was a shorter, smaller, really good, quick kid. I liked having a little bit better matchup there than with the linebacker, just in case he decides to turn it up and get vertical with it. On the back side here, what do we got going on? So the Will backer, the one thing I'd like him to do a little bit better is as he's working out there, actually give him a shot. Maybe it's just me, but I still like to see some collision, some disruption of the receivers, knock them around a little bit. I know they don't like it, so it gets them annoyed. And then our backer here, he does a good job when he drops back, sees the quarterback looking, works that next route right there. You see, right where they kind of want to go with it. I mean, we're lucky he drops the ball. You just keep expanding to it. We can get a nice shot on him, even if he were to catch it. Our safety, I was talking about, I wish he was lined up a little bit more by the hash, but he does do a good job of realizing that since he's already close to center field, he doesn't have to travel very far, and he can sit it back down into his back pedal. So this one, we have it against the run. So then we got silver called. So we're bumping our backers out. Sam is giving a shimmy call. It's letting the mic know he's now taking the blitz over. Strong safety. He's becoming our 3-dropper. D-gap support player right off the edge here. Everyone maintains their gaps. Mike Backer coming off the edge. He can actually go right to the running back first. They were pulling it on us, so I know I hesitated for a second, but he adjusts well, gets down the line, makes a good play for us. Our strong safety here, being a 3-dropper, he would become the quarterback player. He needs to be ready to come down flat like he does there. They'll make a play. One of the reasons why I picked this clip is to kind of show the one problem with Silver is weak side running 3-by-1. We got a pretty big gap going on over here. This is one of the things, freshman backer. One of the things I need to talk to him more about is bringing him up, more off the hip here so he could fold in and at least punch his tackle there and fill that. If they are doing a lot of weak side run, this isn't probably something we'd be doing a ton of. Or I would do what we call a pinch, where we're now taking our back end and shake down, control the blockers, and just let the full backer just play the gap. So here's against Coast Guard. We got an H-back game. For the most part, I consider H-backs tight ends as far as, how we're calling things. So just can keep the blitz on. We adjusted pre-snap to it. We're already in position. They caught us there. You might as well just stay because that's where we got to. Get good pressure from the Sam backer, cause a bad throw. Looking at it, strong safety. I like how he gets his hands on. I just would prefer that he would stay square with it instead of turning his hips with him, because then it's just harder for him to kind of start working back out to the flat. With that curl drop too, collision, disrupt the vertical too. We want to get inside underneath 1. Get his path a little bit more over. He had time to throw the ball. This guy's pretty open right there because our corner now has to overlap the deep route. But that's one thing with bringing the extra rusher there. Try to cause a bad throw, not let him see the open guys. Again, here it is. It's over with the tight end. It's Terrell here playing her Sam. Does a good job controlling the tight end. Gets back to leverage. Doesn't let him bounce. Makes a pretty big play right there. Lets everybody else rally to the ball. Looking back at it too. I know we tell our strong safeties collision, disrupting vertical too, but he needs to be reading as well, the end man line of scrimmage through the back. Notice the run right away. If he can see that now, he's quick enough. He doesn't need to engage with that block. He comes down, sees his run. He can come in now and probably avoid the block altogether and be in the play as well. So again, talking about, how we're playing it and what kind of trips they're doing. This is Norwich this year. They're doing a bunch. They like to get the ball to this guy right here. A lot of you Maine guys will know that's Trevor Chase from Marshwood. Heck of a player. So we're calling silver. We're passing the blitz down. Let's one of our good player or one of our top defenders, Terrell Thomas here, head up on the point. Let him do his thing. If they're throwing that screenplay, we got Winslow kid, Trent Bouchard, good tackler, good corner for us. He can get outside. And we got our strong safety coming to fill up the middle. So we got a more physical guy disrupting the bunch, taking on the block. We have two quick, good tackling DBs coming in to help with the play. General rule of thumb for me is I always like to turn everything back inside. But going back to letting athletes be athletes, Terrell's a pretty slick kid. He's got, he can find a way to slip off some blocks. So if you can beat him, you just better make the play, and he does a good job of doing that. We got our safety in there. Trent and I talked about it. He probably could have just ran by this guy, get in sooner. But, hold him to no gain. Everything's covered. So this clip I like to put on here. I didn't talk about it earlier, but a big part of, to me, any defense, and in particular ours, is our communication. It's defense. You don't have to be quiet. Talk to each other. Relay the calls. Safeties, make sure your corners know. Backers, safeties, make sure you're on the same page. So this first game of the season, and we obviously, you'll see we didn't communicate. The hook and our strong safety and our Sam backer end up dropping on the same guy. So we got two guys doing a curl flat drop when really we're set up. Our safety, he comes down here, collisions this guy, and then works to here. He's right in this passing lane. Our outside backer, he'll work his way out to the flat. We're in good shape there. And our Mike backer, he's actually doing a pretty good job working his way right into here to the hook range, looking for that number 3. He actually gets to a good spot. We luck out, the quarterback throws it to that guy anyway. Can't complete the pass. But the problem is, since we have two guys running the flat, the quarterback had been patient. He's going to see it open up right there, right in the window. Here's from the end zone. It's a good trap. Our backer, takes away the easier inside part of the throw to that what becomes the number 3 receiver. Like I was saying, if the quarterback was patient, maybe he was trying to throw it to the other guy, but what became the number 2 was running wide open. Again, that comes back to just communicating, talking to each other, being on the same page. I'll tell the guys, may not be the best call in the world, but if you're all doing the same thing, it's probably going to work pretty well. So that's kind of our cover 3 look against 3-by-1. Next we're going to get into our 2 high coverages. We play, for the most part, we play 2 different ones. We play a hard 2 and a read 2. We do have a quarters in there. We don't use it a ton, so I kind of just sticking to those. And then off of that, when we see a 3x1, our guys have a choice between two different coverage checks to it. A lot of times, we'll decide on them, depending on what the other teams want to do. If they have a guy that's really good, we may want to do something in particular to stop that guy, almost in a bracket type situation. But it's kind of a week-to-week thing. Both the coverage checks are completely based off our 2 high coverages. So like I said, they're not learning any new concepts. It's just making sure that the guys in the different spots are in places they can be successful. So first, we'll go over our 2 high start. We got our hard 2. This is kind of your typical kind of Tampa 2, where you got your half field safeties, your flat corners, your curl and carry players at outside backer, and you got a middle dropper. Draw them both up, rushing 4. It doesn't, we'll change up which backers are going where. Always want to bring a 4th rusher just to put a little bit of extra pressure on the quarterback, just so we don't have to cover all day. But, in our hard 2, the corners rule is he's got a jam, funnel, flat, refract. So the first thing, he's jamming that receiver. Whether we're jamming at 5 yards or right up the line of scrimmage, he can't let that number 1 receiver get a vertical release. He's got to make him flatten out, preferably inside. We want to funnel him inside. If the guy gets outside, we want to flatten him out to the sideline. So again, we're going to jam him, funnel him in. We want to funnel him in so it's easier for the safety to get on top. Can play the vertical route of 1. And then he's going to protect the flat after that. So he's going to jam him, funnel him in. As he goes in, the corner is now looking for any of the flat routes coming from number 2. As the play develops and carries on, he's going to refract. So after he's protected flat, he's going to refract back into the hole here. You got the safety on top. That helps us, work on any corner routes and protect that deep ball first. At any chance, we can always tackle what's short, but we don't want to give up that deep ball. Safeties, they're playing a half field. They're reading 1 to 2. They're going to have a short travel to start. Getting that back pedal, split 1 and 2, got a midpoint 2 verts. I tell them as far as alignment, we want to, be an inside shade number 2, but make sure you're at a place where you can play the vertical route of 1 from the start. Our curl and carry players, so our outside backers, they got to disrupt that vertical. They're going to get hands on, and they're going to carry that number 2 vertical or until they get a sit call from the corner. If it's a smash concept, as the play develops and the corner refracts and we still got a guy sitting here in the flat, so he'll carry it, wall it, disrupt it. As the corner's refracting, he'll give him a sit call, and all he's got to do is come down and play that. Our middle backer, or our backer here, he's going to, whoever's dropping in coverage, he's going to drop off to 3 strong. So if the running back's over here, open up this way, or if the field's over here, I'd probably tell him to open the field first. Just get back here in this middle hole, start hunting the dig. A read 2, it's exactly that. Our corners, you're reading 2 to 1. Their rules, if 2 is out, I'm out. So if 2 runs a quick out, corner knows he's got a trigger on it now, take that out. 2's vertical, I'm vert. So now you're going to just drop, you're going to play a deep quarter. And if he starts sitting, again, sit, let that outside backer know that he's got a guy sitting in the flat. 2's in, 2 clears right now. Then you just melt. You're basically one-on-one coverage now with the number 1 receiver. Our strong safety here, You know, again, he's going to read 2 to 1 as well. He's a little bit different. He's going to be inside of number 2. And basically 2's vertical. He's just going to stay what we call tip leverage, top inside. Stay deep with him. He knows he's got help outside here with the corner because if 2's vert, corner's vert. But as soon as 2 turns his hips and he breaks outside, strong safety's got to get his eyes to 1. What's he doing? Is he running vertical? Is he running a post, a curl? He's now becoming your responsibility. You know, so the read 2 is kind of nice. Teams that want to throw 4 verts at us, we can, you know, mix it up between 4 verts and some short stuff. It gives us that ability without guessing that, you know, we can be in quarters coverage really quick, or we still got a guy that will play aggressive on some of the short stuff underneath. The backer in this, called curl and buzz. So again, he's going to try to get his hands on. He's going to wall that number 2, disrupt it, but he's going to work to that flat a lot quicker. Especially if he's dropping deep, he's walling him. He's getting here. He knows he's vertical route now. He's going to buzz to the flat now to help out. Again, our inside backer will be our middle dropper. Again, hunting the dig, posts, you know, that stuff right inside the middle there. So we'll take those 2 coverages, and when we go to our cover 3 checks, they can both be used in it. So our first one, we probably use this the majority of the time for our 2 high checks, is stay. So the trip side, the corner, the Sam, the strong safety, we're going to stay in the coverage called. So if I called read 2, we're staying in, they're going to play read 2 rules. So corner, 2's out, he's out. 2's vert, corner's vert. Same thing with strong safety. He's reading 2 to 1. If I were to call hard 2, you know, then we're going to play the hard 2 rules. We got jam, funnel, flat, refract by the corner. We got the true half field safety by the strong safety here. So these guys, these 3 will handle it. Basically, it's a triangle with their coverage, whether it's the read 2 or the hard 2. And then we'll start working our free safety. A little bit different. All it is, he's stealing the vertical in number 3. So it's a lot like playing a center field safety. You know, his eyes are looking for anything vert by number 3. He goes vertical, you're on him, stay with him. That's who you're looking to steal. You know, we can oftentimes guys will get picks off this, especially if, you know, they can hold their water and stay lined up over here. And, you know, they think it's too high, the middle's weak. You know, quarterback wants to throw right in the middle. You got a guy coming over to steal the play. Then our corner, we have what we call solo. So, you know, if you got the guys and you feel comfortable locking it up, definitely see some things to it. I like to do our solo coverage. So, you know, you're responsible for him for anything deep, but you are going to have help from your outside backer or the inside backer coming out, helping out on slants, hitches, anything underneath. So you can stay a little bit deeper. Don't give up the deep ball. The other reason for me that I don't want to play man on him, just lock him up, is if they want to put this guy in a drag and then wheel out the back or he comes all the way across, we're just dropping now deep and we have a defender there for those guys. There's no reason for me to have a corner running underneath 2 backers. So if this guy is in now, he clears the linebacker, he can now start dropping, get depth, and help out with any deep routes or any route from the running back. And the same thing goes for actually the free safety. You know, if three goes out in vertical, you know, 2 becomes your next number 3. So if we ever get a switch route, you know, he's still your number 3 receiver. Free safety is responsible for him. However, though, you're going to have, you have these crossing routes, the mesh routes here. If the free safety sees him clear 2 backers, just let him go, get depth. Now you can start helping out from post by 1 or any other deep route from the trip side. And I do like to tell them clear 2 backers for the reason that a lot of these guys, you're seeing it more, they get underneath this inside backer and then they get back up to vertical. So, it kind of helps the safety understand his rules. If he goes underneath the backer, clears them, you can drop and look around. It does help too, especially if he's, a tight end type player and he's going underneath. It's bringing your eyes to look for number 1 coming in. Again, I just put, general linebackers here. Any one of these 3 guys we could be sending, mix it up, give a little bit different look. But essentially, you're going to have your middle dropper still. He's going to drop off a 3, help out with the short stuff underneath. He's going to want to collision him, get in here, knock him around a little bit. Take away that short spot route. The backer responsible for the flats here, call it clamp and buzz. So first he's going to buzz, get underneath, take away the hitch, take away the slant, quick routes to number 1, but then he can run with the backer as well. So if you ever had post wheels, seam wheel, your backer's now going to be running with them. Not always ideal, but at least you got somebody running, and it can get covered. So we'll go into a couple clips in that. So here we got our stay. We got read 2 called. We'll go in slow motion, make sure it comes out clear. You got the backer working the flat. For him not to reach for it, just disrupt it. He's already made him get off his path and actually run into number 1. So he's already ruined his route, which is good. From this angle, basically getting 2 vertical routes here. So our safety does a good job staying tip of 2. I'm assuming and hoping our corner stayed top of 1. Hard to see in the screen there. Now on the back side here, free safety, he's looking. Number 3's coming vertical. He's gone behind the backer so he can start coming down on him. Ball gets thrown so he makes a play outside. We got Trent in our corner. He's in our solo technique. Stays on top. He's in a great position to make a play on the ball. Incomplete pass. Pretty sure that it was that their tall guy over there? No, it wasn't their really tall guy, but our Mike backer here. One of the things he does I like is he gets out, he gets in that throwing lane, he forces number 3 to get further deeper on the dig he's trying to run. It's delaying the route, can't throw it. Actually, this is one of the times we dropped 8. I'm not sure why I was 2nd and 2, but it worked out for us. Coast Guard does throw the ball quite a bit. Coach McKinney does have a good saying for it to remind me too, is if you're not getting home, don't keep blitzing. Blitz if you can get home. If you're getting home, then send as many as you'd like. So here, and we had a hard 2 call, they motion over. Very simple, they just check stay. So again, he's gonna steal the vertical 3. We got Tampa technique over here. One thing that, talking about what guys are trying to do, looking into game planning for the week, Catholic was starting to move a lot of their guys out wider. When they would do that so they could run the ball off the edge here. Decided I'd rather have one of our better tacklers staying in. So we made the adjustment a little bit that week. that we would keep our outside backer inside number 3, as we thought, one, he's a little bit bigger threat there, but also that, they were trying to run to that trip side right in this range. So again, just knowing kind of tendencies and what the other team, where they're trying to attack. So I'm going to say I actually mislabeled this. This is actually a read to, watching the way they're playing it. Number 2 breaks out late, so our corner is going to break late to it. Safety does a good job of staying tip at 2. Sees his hips turn outside. Now he's getting ready, settling down. He's ready to break on that post route right there. Backside, we got a different world of problems. Corner gets caught sleeping off the snap. He's solo. Prefer to see him already kind of ready in his skate step. He's slow to react, and that's where he gets beat off the first couple steps. When he knows that's his main responsibility deep, one thing I'll give him is that once he's beat deep, he doesn't look back, hustles to the ball, plays the hands. We're lucky it's an underthrown ball. He can make a play. But he's not looking back for it. He knows where he's got to get and save the play. Our free safety, and this is kind of one of the things that I need to do a better job of teaching them, even if we're stealing the vertical 3, line up more, a little bit closer to that hash, a little bit better. But what that also do is as you're getting to position, it'll help your eyes see what else is going on if you need to help out with any other deep ball. Come on. Should cut that. And the corner is beat, but he does a good job, just plays the hands. Something we talk about in drills every day, one-on-ones. If you're not in phase, you keep the eyes on the hips, look for the hands to shoot out, and you put your hand in between theirs. All right, I gotta pause this one. So here this is a hard 2. So the clip is cut a little bit, but we got our hard 2 Tampa type coverage up top here. We're going to steal the vertical 3. Half field player, he's soloing 1. He's getting inside, he's getting underneath that slant route. Corner does a great job. Now he doesn't funnel him in, but he stays square and he rides him to the sideline. He's disrupted that route. He can't do anything about it. Safety gets on top. I like he's peeking a little too much for me in the backfield on the trip side. I'm not sure if he's totally aware where number 2 is. But he's on top of it. He's in his deep half. Our Sam backer, collisions, does a good job disrupting it. Can't throw it there. He starts looking at the backside. This is where our free safety, he's stealing vertical 3. Again, I gotta, I love to give them freedom, but I also gotta let them know sometimes, hey, hang out here. This is where they're trying to beat you. They're trying to come across or get up the middle. Understand, where they're trying to go with that route. He does a good job. He recognizes it, so he starts running. He gets into his sprint. Actually makes a heck of a pick. It's Joel Bennett. He's a Coney kid, and he came in and did a nice job for us. He was actually a running back for 3 years. This is his first year playing defense at the college level, and he kind of filled right in for his brother there at safety. I thought this first game I was seeing John Bennett again. But I was talking earlier about the solo, the backside of 1. This is one of those situations where he's going in now. We're not following him. Just cut him loose. And then you can start dropping back in that space. If you cut him loose a little bit sooner, that's actually going to be our corner play. Actually be a little bit easier pick instead of having to make an all-star play there. Will Backer does a good job. You know, he gets in the way. Could do a little bit better job, again, just giving a shot to that guy coming across. Again, I like to bug receivers as much as possible. They don't like it. It annoys them. That makes me happy. You know, but then he sees the back out, gets the back covered. A nice play by Joel there in the end zone right before half. Actually, this end zone's not a good angle. Okay, so we got hard two again here. We funnel it in. So the corner is making sure one's going in. I prefer if he stayed a little bit more square. That would have helped him, you know, get back to number one sooner. But as soon as he does recognize it, he does start turning. And instead of flipping all the way around, he just turns his hips and he starts running, refracting back now to help out with any deep ball. Our outside backer, guessing he's peeking in the backfield here. Starts looking away. I'd like to see him be a little bit more patient and start looking for that word number one kind of sitting down there. Watching this guy here, the one comes in, sits right here. We get our eyes stuck in the backfield and we drift. If he just works with that curl and carry, that curl range right here, he's actually going to be sitting right in that window where the number one receiver ends up sitting it down. Good middle drop by our Mike backer. Finds the middle hole, finds the dig, takes away, can't throw it there. Soon he was looking to attack us on the one receiver side. This time we stay on top pretty well by the corner. Terrell does a good job getting underneath, take away any. If they want to throw a hitch or slant, it's not there. He can't take it. Now he's got to start looking back through his reads. Gives us time to get pressure and get to the quarterback. So I like to tell our D-line guys, that's a coverage sack. You're welcome. Oh, I forgot a slide somewhere, but our other trips check is a cover 6 look. So in that sense, we're going to play a quarters coverage to the trip side. Actually, might be the next slide. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Oh, it's on here. There it is. Just put it out of place. So this is one of, regardless if we call read 2 or hard 2, if for the week we're game planning, especially if they got a guy that we think is really good, they love to attack that with, that's outside here is the number one receiver. We can almost bracket him with this cover 6 look. We'll play a hard 2 technique on the backside where we're jamming, funneling the number one receiver, and you got the half field player, free safety playing on top. So again, that gives us a bracket, if they have a dude out there that can make some plays. We'll do a quarters coverage to the trip side, strong safety, corner, just getting back, mid-pointing if they got 2 verticals in their zone, or in our Sam, he's buzzing the flat. He's responsible for any flat route. One of the weaknesses is, if they love to go vertical with number 3, now you're asking your Mike to carry number 3 vertical. All he's got to do is bend it in here, and that can be a mismatch. If you got a Mike backer that can run, man, it's a heck of a coverage. If he can run with that number 3 and you can do it, you're pretty well protected all over the place. For the most part, for us, try to avoid that situation. I don't think it puts us in the best position. But if they're not attacking vertical with 3, they want to get to this guy, or they're just kind of going with the 2 verticals here. Gives us another option, different look. Again, same shell there, but a different way to try to confuse the offense a little bit. Kind of go from there. Let's go back 2 clips here. So this is from actually Coast Guard 3 years ago. But so we're playing our 6 coverage here. Now it's 2nd and 5. I believe this was near the end of the half. So we're probably telling him to play a little bit off. It's almost more like a quarters look at this point. But, he's our deep half player. They had a heck of a receiver over here that we didn't want getting the ball. And then we got our 2 quarter players going on. Just getting depth, keeping everything in front. It's a big thing in any kind of deep coverage. Keep it in front of you. It's a heck of a lot easier to break down on the ball and go make a play than it is to try to catch up and find it. Trenton Bouchard from Winslow making a heck of a play. It's actually kind of funny. Coast Guard every year seem to want to attack Trenton, and he's had his way with them. I think he had two of his games against Coast Guard are now 2 of the top 5 all-time pass deflections in the game for us. He's got a few different picks against them, and they haven't completed much on him at all. Kind of cracks me up. They still, even this year, they tried to attack him, and he's still making plays. So here, this year against Coast Guard. So we were actually checking 6 of this. One reason is, and we were bringing him into the box again when they had a tight end there. They were trying to run off that edge, or they just throw the quick flat here. So I figured we have him, help support a little bit more on the run. Terrell's a good enough athlete; he can still get out to the flat, and have our deep coverage players back out. They had a pretty tall kid right here. So I think he was 6'6", and we had a freshman corner in, so I'm trying to protect that a little bit over there. So end up getting a run. Terrell sets the edge. He'll make a play. Safety, get a couple read steps, corner a couple read steps. They see the run coming. They beat their guys. Our corner could have just, he beat his blocker now. He's got his outside arm free. He can come off that block and make it a couple yards sooner. But we're stringing it along, bouncing it sideways. It gives us time to rally around the ball, for only a 2-yard gain. Up top, ends up being a run, but corner does a pretty good job. He gets a good jam in there. I know it turns into a block. He tries to sell the vertical route to start. If they were trying to run it or throw it to him, we got a good jam in place. All right. So that's, for the most part, the checks we did this year for 3x1. I got a couple more that I've done in the past at when I was at Rampart High School in Colorado Springs. We're a little bit different coverage-wise, so we were able to kind of get these in for different reasons, but I think they're kind of fun. And, the first one, the cloud 2, so we're doing a cloud coverage to the trip side. It's something I want to do more of here, and we're probably going to. But essentially, it's flat coverage by the corner, deep outside third for the strong safety, middle third for the free safety. Again, we're soloing, or deep third for the backside corner. When we're teaching this, again, which is nice, where I got all our cover 3 concepts here. We're going to, we'll talk to them. We have our 5-man pressures. We talk more of our seam curl, flat responsibilities. When we have 3 deep, 3 under. These guys will already know that when we get to that point. In the corner, you don't have to tell them much different. You just tell them, hey, you're playing like a hard corner. You're playing the flat, you're jamming, funneling stuff inside, and trying to make a play, protect that flat, and then you're refracting late. Again, it's the same shell, same looking, and just now they're expecting the corner to drop, and the corner comes up and makes a play. So I actually have footage from Rampart. For us, it was actually an automatic check for empty to the trip side. So we got 2x2 with a tight end, back flares out, pre-snap. So our guys check it. And, I tell these guys to play pretty aggressive. I had some good hitters at corner for me. But, we've been dropping back into quarters a lot, cover 3 a lot into our trips looks. Everything they could get away with flaring it. And our corner just basically is on a trap coverage, and he's able to come up and make a big play. I called it incomplete. I think it should have been a fumble. We should have scored, but that's the way it goes. Strong safety does a good job. Gets on top. 1, can't throw it deep. Free safety rolls over in the middle of the field. So just a different way to go about it. The other one, and for the life of me, I couldn't find any footage of it from Rampart. It's probably in the office on one of my hard drives, which I can't get to right now. But is our combo coverage. We'd use this a lot for kind of air raid teams, guys are throwing it around a lot, reading, whether it's man or zone coverage, kind of mess with the quarterback's reads. The corners, we lock them up on number 1. So basically they're canceling them out. We're not worried about the number 1 receivers. We're trusting these guys to go ahead and, take care of them. I was actually, pretty fortunate, 2 guys I had playing there. One's playing wide receiver right now in Northern Colorado. The other's he was a state hurdle champion. He's running track at Louisiana Tech. So I was spoiled. I could tell these guys just go out and cover number 1 and not have to worry about it. So again, knowing your personnel, sometimes you're just lucky and you can do some different things. And then inside 2 and 3, we play our read 2 rules. And we'd actually be a little bit more aggressive with it too. Our rule is you're reading 3 while playing 2. So again, if 3's out, then you're out. But if 3 was vertical or 3 is in, then you just stay with number 2 the whole way. So again, or Sam Backer, he'd be walling 3, looking for back out if necessary, if he's getting too deep. But and then free safety, he's inside leverage number 3, reading 3 to 2. 3's out or in, his eyes go to number 2. If they're both in, then he can help out deep here. So that's just another coverage. Want to throw that in there. It's always fun to have a couple different tools in your bag, even if you don't use them every year. A big thing for me, like I said earlier, is keeping it simple, not having too many different things for them to think about. One thing I've learned here too is you got to have a good, stable, simple concepts guys can learn right away. Our guys are busy in the classroom. They're busy working on the ship. They may not get all the time in the world to, that you would like at some other programs. So they got to be able to pick it up quickly. I think we've done a pretty good job of that here. In fact, 3 of my DBs this year spent the majority of their time on offense here and then moved over to help us out, and they did a pretty good job at it. So we have it set up. Guys can come in, play right away, and I can trust them too, and they can feel comfortable that they can go out and make plays. So that pretty much wraps it up for me right now. If you guys got questions, definitely answer them. You can always contact me, email, cell, Twitter. Doesn't matter. I'll get back to you.
I got a question for you. If you were going to face a team who was a big time, like quick screen, 3-step, like not a lot of vertical stuff, more just trying to get it out of the Q's hands so that you can't really pressure him much, what would be your preference in your 3x1?
I'd stay with our, probably our Tampa coverage or our hard coverage and do the stay. That way we got the corner up in the flat there. Our backside corner, sneak him up a little bit, tell our, outside backer Will, hey, be ready for that slant, that hitch right now. We can tell him it's going to come out quick. I'm going to tell the corner, hey, you are more man this week. Just, I know it's solo and stuff, but just man him up because that ball's out now. We did that.
I wondered about that combo coverage you showed last there. That combo coverage you showed last where you lock up number 1 and then the strong safety's up on 2 and the back is on 3.
Yep. I personally, I would love that. The one of the things that, is that we don't work a ton of man here.
Yep.
So, just the whole idea of the teaching concepts, it's kind of funny, actually. I was pretty spoiled out there. I mean, in Colorado, we could work with our guys pretty much every day throughout the year doing some kind of non-padded stuff. We had 10 full padded practices in the spring, or you could do it in the summer before your fall season even starts. But that is something I'd like to, look more into. We got a couple guys next year at corner I think can lock up some guys pretty well. And a lot of practice at it this year going against our 2 tall receivers in Dom and Mason. So, but yeah, I do like it. And especially with 3-step quarterbacks they think it's man and they throw inside and it turns out that zone or vice versa.
Right.
Definitely seen it mess with some kids' heads.
Yep. Coach Goff, you got any questions down there before we close this down?
Yeah, I actually got a couple. First off, Coach, were you at the National Coaches Convention in Nashville, Tennessee?
I was. I remember meeting you down there, Coach.
Good to see you again, man.
Good to see you.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, I thought you looked really familiar, and then when I saw MMA, I'm like, awesome. Yeah, that's got to be him. Good to see you again, man. That's a great. That's the first time I've been to one of those. It's awesome. I think next year they're doing it in Charlotte, so I'm going to probably try and go every year now. My question is pertaining to football. What type of coverages do you guys typically run in goal line defense?
We will play man down there. We got a couple different 6-man pressures we'll use, and we'll just play 0 coverage behind it. And again, a lot of it's depending on what they're trying to do. But for the most part, from the 10 and in, we're gonna send a lot of guys and just try to man it up and make them get the ball out quick. The big thing for us, we got to make sure we're stopping the run, plugging the holes, first and foremost, and then, force a bad throw.
Definitely. Let's say you guys are you run a lot of cover 3. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
So let's say you have a 2x2, slot man from the opposite side motions to create a trips type formation to either side of the field, whatever it is. How would you teach guys to cover that up?
So, if he motions to where we're bringing the guy, that's when we'll just, we'll have the backers bump out with it. And, we'll pass the blitz down. If they're motioning away from the coverage is going, all we got to do is just bump the backers over and just keep it.
Right.
So, yeah.
And your safety's going to shift over a little bit as well.
Yeah. they'll shuffle a couple, with the too high shell. They shouldn't have to move too much. But again, like I tell the guys, and maybe I'm a little different. I'm not a huge stickler necessarily on alignment, as long as they can get where they need to be. I felt like I made that mistake my first couple years coaching. I was getting all mad at this safety. I was like, yeah, you got to be in this one spot. You got to be there. And he's like, Coach, I can't get to where you want me to be from there. And I finally gave in the game, and all of a sudden he makes play. I'm like, all right, I got to loosen up, let these guys play free and, do their thing.
Right.
So if it doesn't work for them, then we're going to have a discussion. But
did you, my last question is,
a little bit to the motion.
Thank you. My last question is, did you face a lot of empty spread type offenses in the conference that you guys play in?
Catholic did a lot of empty stuff. Mass Maritime, they're not in our conference, but they're a big rival. They did. And to be honest with you, I'm still kind of working on that one. I'm not that happy with how our empty coverages went this year. The year before we did some pretty good things, and I got to get back in touch with Coach Kasabian over at Colby. He was, our DC the year before. Kind of go over the finer points of that again.
Right.
But Coach Hathaway had mentioned that, earlier.
We talked about that.
Topics, and I was like, well, I'm still searching for that answer, so I'm going to leave that one alone.
It's tough, man. Most of the teams we faced this year, we just dropped, we dropped 8. And